It's still kind of mind-blowing when you think about how quickly live streaming completely changed the e-commerce game. Back in, 2019, you had these early pioneers like Via and Lee Giacchi suddenly pulling in these just astronomical sales numbers. It felt like watching the birth of a whole new way to shop, really.
It really was a pivotal moment. And then came 2020, which, well, it poured gasoline on that fire. The
Mhm.
pandemic, the extended periods people were stuck at home, it all led to this massive surge in online content consumption. And live streaming was right there, perfectly positioned to capture a huge chunk of that attention.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we've got some fascinating industry reports that really get into the nuts and bolts of how live streaming e-commerce took off in 2020. We're talking
Yeah.
about questions like which platforms became the dominant players? What kinds of live stream formats really clicked with audiences? How did short form video become such a critical piece of the puzzle? And where were the big opportunities emerging for businesses?
Yeah, these reports paint a picture of a market experiencing truly explosive growth. Our goal today is to cut through all the data and extract the key insights from that 2020 landscape. We want to give you a clear, concise understanding of what happened and, more importantly, why it's still relevant today.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're going to start by looking at just how massive that growth was in 2020, focusing on the numbers that really tell that story. Then we'll explore how the entire ecosystem of live streaming commerce started to, well, take shape. We'll also dive into the successful marketing combinations that emerged, the distinct strategies different platforms were employing, and finally, we'll touch on some of the trends that were hinting at what the future held. Ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Let's start with those growth metrics. What's immediately striking is the sheer size of the audience already engaged with short form video and live streaming as we entered 2020.
Right. By March 2020, we saw a staggering 773 million short-form video users. That's over 85% of everyone online. It's incredible. And live streaming wasn't far behind, with 560 million users in the first quarter of 2020, which was like 62% of internet users. The charts in our sources show these amazing growth curves, just a relentless climb from 2018 right through the beginning of 2020.
And what's fascinating is how this huge audience translated into actual purchases. The reports highlight significantly higher conversion rates for top-tier influencer e-commerce, around 20%. Think about that for a second. 1 in 5 viewers actually buys something.
Wow.
That's a seismic shift compared to the fractions of a percent we often see with traditional online ads. It really underscores the power of that direct connection and trust built through live content. Compare that to social e-commerce at, what, 6, 7%, and traditional e-commerce at a mere 0.37%. The difference is just, well, night and day.
It really puts things in perspective. And it wasn't just the number of users. The actual percentage of online shopping happening through live streams was taking off. It jumped from 1.4% to 4.1% between 2018 and 2019. Then, during the 2019 Double 11 Shopping Festival, Taobao Live hit a 7.5% penetration rate. Experts were projecting it to reach 7.9% for the entire year of 2020.
And that growth and penetration directly fueled a massive increase in the overall market size. The forecasted GMV for 2020, that's the gross merchandise volume, the total value of goods sold, was 961 billion yuan. That's a whopping 122% year-over-year increase.
Incredible.
And the underlying reason for this explosive growth, it seems to be the relatively low cost of acquiring a customer. Basically offering attractively priced products through engaging live streams. It was all about reaching those huge online audiences efficiently.
Okay, so we see this incredible growth in scale. But who exactly was jumping into this space? It wasn't just those early internet celebrities anymore, was it?
Oh, not at all. 2020 marked a real diversification of the participants. The reports detail this broadening range of live streaming hosts, moving beyond just internet celebrities to include, well, established celebrities, entrepreneurs, even government officials, and professional media hosts. By February 2020, over 100 different offline professions had made the leap to becoming Taobao live streamers.
That's a massive shift.
Yeah.
And the celebrities getting involved, that wasn't just a passing trend, right? They were using their fame in really interesting ways.
Yeah, precisely. Celebrities were entering the live streaming space for various reasons. Direct sales to their fans, sure, but also public welfare initiatives, raising money and awareness, and of course brand endorsements, leveraging their star power to promote products. Often, they would strategically partner with established key opinion leaders, or KOLs, who already had dedicated audiences in specific niches. That let them tap into even wider reach. We saw high-profile examples like Lu Tao becoming the chief official selection officer for Jawazuan, essentially lending her considerable influence. And then you had Lu Yumhao's highly anticipated debut on Douyin, which really signaled that platform's serious entry into e-commerce.
Right, right. And it wasn't just individual personalities. Established brands themselves were recognizing the huge potential, especially during the uncertainty of the pandemic.
Exactly. For many brands, particularly those with physical stores facing closures or reduced foot traffic, live streaming became a crucial form of, self-rescue. It offered a direct channel to connect with consumers and keep sales moving when traditional avenues were disrupted. A compelling example from the reports is McDonald's CEO making his live streaming debut on Bilibili.
Wow, McDonald's.
Yeah, that's a traditional brick-and-mortar giant embracing this entirely new digital format to engage with its customers.
And the reports even touch on this idea of CEO live streaming becoming a trend. It sounds like the motivation went beyond simply trying to sell more products in the short term.
Oh, absolutely. While direct sales were certainly a potential outcome, CE live streaming also carried significant marketing weight. It was a powerful way for company leaders to engage directly with consumers, build brand awareness and trust, and even shape the narrative around their companies in a very personal, accessible way. That direct interaction from the top could resonate really deeply with online audiences.
Okay, so we've got this incredibly diverse group of people and organizations jumping into live streaming. The reports also broke down the successful streamers into different key archetypes, right? What were those?
Yes, the reports identified 5 main categories of successful live streamers that really took off in this period. The first is the marketing-oriented streamer. These individuals, like Lu Yonghao or Liang Zhenzhang, they prioritized marketing and building brand awareness above immediate sales figures. They use their live streams primarily to generate buzz, engage with their audience, and build long-term brand recognition.
That makes perfect sense. It's about playing the long game, not just focusing on immediate transactions. What's the next archetype?
The second archetype is the traffic-driven streamer. This category includes those who leverage a large existing following, whether it's due to pre-existing celebrity status or inherent talent, to draw in massive audiences. Think of people like Chen He, Lu Tao, or the broader category of established internet celebrities who already had a substantial and loyal fan base.
So they're essentially capitalizing on their existing popularity and reach. Then there's a category that's based on having specific expertise, right?
That's the expert-backed streamer. These individuals, like the incredibly successful Li Jiaqi in beauty and cosmetics, rely on their professional credibility, deep knowledge, and strong influence within specific product categories. Their authority and expertise in a particular area build significant trust with their audience, making their recommendations highly persuasive and driving strong sales.
So it's all about trust and specialized knowledge within a particular niche. What about the streamers who seem to have a real advantage when it came to actually sourcing and providing the products themselves?
Those fall into the supply chain-focused archetype. Streamers like Via and Jimba had built or leveraged significant negotiation power and established robust supply chain platforms. This allowed them to offer a wide variety of products at highly competitive prices. Essentially, they could provide a comprehensive plug-and-play live streaming commerce model. They controlled the product flow, which gave them a major edge.
So they're the powerhouses with the infrastructure and the direct access to goods. And the last category sounds a bit different, maybe more aligned with traditional business models.
Yes, the final archetype is the sales agent model. This is best exemplified by someone like Dong Mingzhu of Gree Electric Appliances. They utilize established sales networks and sophisticated IT systems, basically extending a traditional corporate sales structure into the live streaming environment. In her case, she wasn't just a celebrity endorser. She was the chairman and president, acting as the ultimate sales agent for her company's products.
It's fascinating to see these distinct approaches to achieving success in this, well, relatively new and dynamic landscape. Now, all of this activity was taking place across a multitude of online platforms. Which ones really emerged as key players in live streaming e-commerce?
Well, the reports highlight a wide range of platforms jumping into the fray, each with its own unique strategy and leveraging its existing strengths. You had the established e-commerce giants like Taobao and JD, of course, making significant investments. But social media platforms like Tencent's Candy and Live and Weibo were also actively getting involved, looking to monetize their massive user bases. Short-form video platforms like Douyin and Kuaishou rapidly became major powerhouses in this space,
Right.
as did content communities like Bilibili, which has a very engaged and loyal user base. Even vertical platforms focused on specific niches, news platforms looking for new revenue streams, and lifestyle service platforms explored the potential here.
So it was a really crowded and competitive field, and it sounds like each platform was trying to carve out its own specific niche or leverage its existing user base in a unique way.
Exactly. Baidu, for instance, with its strong foundation in search, focused on live streams centered around sharing knowledge and expertise. Douyu, which started in gaming with a mostly male user base, naturally gravitated towards products for that demographic. Meituan, known for local services, explored live streaming for travel and local retail. And Bilibili, with its community focused on anime, comics, and games, was experimenting with this distinctive blend of content and e-commerce that really resonated with its specific audience.
And the reports mention this emerging three-way split among the dominant platforms in the live streaming e-commerce market.
Yes, by 2020, a kind of three-way split was becoming increasingly apparent. Taobao Live, Kuaishou Live, and Douyin Live were solidifying their positions as the dominant forces. While these three captured the lion's share of activity and sales, the other platforms continued to target more specific niche areas.
So how are these platforms actually trying to promote live streaming on their sites and apps? What kind of tactics were they using to attract both sellers, the hosts and merchants, and the all-important buyers?
They employed a wide range of tactics. Many platforms actively invited celebrities to make their live streaming debuts. That's a high-profile way to generate buzz and attract new users. Providing financial subsidies, both to merchants to incentivize hosting and to consumers as discounts, was another very common strategy.
Makes sense.
Platforms also worked to lower the technical and logistical barriers for merchants of all sizes to start live streaming, making it easier and more accessible.
Okay, so lower the hurdles, get more people selling, and hopefully more people buying. What about getting viewers to actually tune in and, crucially, make purchases?
That involved a multi-pronged approach, really focused on fostering consistent user viewing habits. This was achieved through promoting highly engaging and entertaining content, often combined with the strong allure of exclusive low prices and that real-time interaction with hosts. Platforms also recognized the importance of building trust and continuously improving the overall shopping experience. They invested in refining logistics networks and payment systems to ensure convenience and confidence.
It sounds like there was a significant surge in the infrastructure and support services growing up around this live streaming boom as well.
Absolutely. The reports highlight a remarkable increase in the number of new live streaming related companies registering in China, nearly 6,000 established in 2020 alone.
Wow, 6,000.
Yeah, a staggering 258% increase compared to the previous year. This dramatic growth clearly indicates the rapid expansion of the entire ecosystem, talent agencies, tech providers, marketing services, and looking slightly ahead, the potential of emerging tech like 5G for smoother streaming and AR/VR for more immersive shopping experiences was also being actively discussed as key future catalysts.
Okay, so we've covered the massive growth, the diverse players, and the platform strategies. Now let's dive deeper into how the whole live streaming e-commerce ecosystem actually functions. What are the essential components?
Right, the reports outline a clear value chain. It begins with the upstream supply chain, wholesalers, brands, factories, basically where the products come from. Then you have the critical traffic platforms, the online channels directing viewers, mainstream e-commerce sites, dedicated live streaming platforms, and emerging models within Kuaishou and Douyin stores. Finally, you have the transaction service platforms. These provide essential support, think MCNs, the multi-channel networks acting like talent agencies and production studios for streamers, plus other service providers for marketing, logistics, tech support, and so on.
It sounds like the primary focus of the industry was starting to evolve to mature as it grew so rapidly.
Precisely. Initially, the focus was heavily skewed towards short-term metrics, immediate sales conversion, maximizing exposure. But as the market matured, there was a growing recognition of the fundamental importance of strengthening the supply chain, ensuring consistent product quality, and enhancing the overall professionalism of the hosts. Sustainable long-term growth couldn't just rely on hype and deep discounts. A more robust foundation was needed.
And this is where the short video seeding plus live streaming sales combination really comes into play, right? The reports even called it the golden marketing combination for this era.
Yes, that strategic combination quickly became a cornerstone. Short-form video platforms were used for initial seeding, creating engaging content to build awareness and interest in a product or brand. This could be product demos, reviews, entertaining skits, you name it. Then, live streaming was used to capitalize on that built-up interest and drive immediate sales through interactive demos, limited time promotions, and direct real-time engagement, answering questions, creating urgency.
So the two formats work together incredibly effectively. The short video warms up the audience for the live stream sales push.
Exactly.
So how did brands and platforms figure out which key opinion leaders, the KOLs, to work with in this evolving environment? Couldn't have just been based on follower counts anymore, could it?
You're absolutely right. Data-driven KOL selection became increasingly sophisticated and crucial. The reports highlight using a variety of key metrics: in-depth audience data to understand demographics and interests, historical ad campaign performance data, advanced anomaly detection to spot fake engagement, and even careful evaluation of recent content quality as indicators of current influence and suitability.
It sounds like a much more strategic analytical approach compared to just picking someone with a lot of followers. And the reports also stress the critical importance of a flexible, resilient supply chain. Why was that so key?
Well, a flexible supply chain is essential for sustainable growth for several reasons. First, it lets hosts offer more cost-effective products by potentially cutting out intermediaries. Second, it allows them to be more responsive to rapidly changing consumer demand and trends. And perhaps most significantly for the long term, a strong supply chain opens up opportunities for hosts to create their own private label brands or collaborate directly with manufacturers on exclusive product lines. This lets them offer unique competitive products to loyal audiences. We saw successful examples like Lee Jiaqi launching co-branded products, Via building her super supply chain, Jinba establishing his Shinushuan brand, and Li Ziki developing her own branded food line.
So it's about gaining control over the product, being more agile, and ultimately building long-term brand value beyond just individual live stream events. Now, with all this incredibly rapid growth, there must have been some significant challenges and misconceptions, right? The reports mentioned some short video e-commerce woes.
Yes, despite the impressive headline numbers, the reports also pointed out several significant challenges. One key issue was the prevalence of chaotic strategies, with many diving in without a clear plan. Many experienced surprisingly high costs with direct live streaming, especially if they over-relied on their own underdeveloped channels without reaching a broader audience. There were also growing concerns around data fraud, inflating viewership and engagement metrics, making it hard for brands to accurately assess the true impact of their investments.
So those impressive high sales figures we often heard about didn't always translate to actual profitability for the brands involved.
Exactly. The reports highlighted numerous cases where brands actually lost money despite seemingly high sales volumes. This could be due to high host fees and commissions, a mismatch between the host's audience and the brand's target demographic, poor planning and execution of the overall operation, or even those fraudulent traffic issues.
And it sounds like the initial idea of just offering the absolute lowest prices wasn't necessarily a guaranteed path to long-term success either.
That's right. While deep discounts were initially a big draw, the reports cautioned that constantly offering the lowest price isn't the sole determinant of success anymore. For established brands, frequent deep discounts via live streaming could actually hurt their brand equity, devaluing their products and training consumers to only buy on sale.
So brands really needed a more strategic and sustainable approach. What was the emerging longer-term strategy highlighted in the reports?
The reports emphasize a necessary shift towards building a more diversified network of collaborating hosts and strategically combining that in-depth short video seeding content with targeted, efficient live streaming conversion events. The key was differentiating between short-term goals like immediate sales and awareness and the crucial long-term goal of sustainable brand building and customer loyalty.
And for brands selling higher-priced items, the strategy needed to be even more carefully thought out, right?
Absolutely. For higher-priced categories, the report stressed the critical need for significant in-depth upfront short video seeding. This pre-live stream content is essential to educate consumers on the value proposition, build trust, and precisely target the right audience. This thorough prep is crucial for achieving good conversion rates during the live stream and avoiding potential chaos in the brand's overall pricing structure. You can't just slash the price of a luxury item in a live stream without proper context.
Right, that makes sense. This distinction between short-form video seeding and live streaming sales seems fundamental. Can we break that down a bit further? What are the core differences?
Certainly, short-form video seeding is fundamentally content-driven. Its main goal is creating engaging, informative content over time to build long-term brand influence, establish a connection, and subtly introduce products. This often involves expert or influencer KOLs providing insights, demos, or entertainment. Direct interactivity is generally lower than in live streaming.
Okay, so it's laying the groundwork, building awareness, trust, desire through valuable content. How does that contrast strategically with live streaming sales?
Live streaming sales, on the other hand, are primarily sales-driven. The immediate focus is driving short-term revenue through real-time demos, interactive Q&A, and strategic limited-time promotions to incentivize immediate buys. Successful streamers often have strong selling skills, create urgency, and forge an emotional connection in real time. Interactivity is much higher, with hosts directly addressing viewer comments.
So one is more like planting the seed and nurturing it, while the other is about creating a concentrated burst of buying activity.
Precisely. The report strongly argued this combination is a natural, highly complementary partnership for rapid, sustainable brand growth. Short form builds the foundation. Live stream provides the immediate call to action and transaction opportunity.
Now, the reports often emphasize three key elements for success: people, products, platform. Let's dig into each, starting with people, the hosts. What makes a successful live streaming host?
The reports highlight several essential qualities. First, a solid and engaged fan base that's the crucial initial audience. Second, demonstrable content expertise relevant to the products, creating engaging, informative, authentic content. And finally, strong live streaming conversion skills are absolutely crucial for turning viewers into customers. This includes showcasing products well, highlighting benefits, creating urgency, handling real-time interaction. Professional back-end support for sourcing and tech is also increasingly important.
And it's really interesting that the reports pointed out it's not just the top-tier mega influencers who succeed.
That's a key insight. The data suggests mid-tier KOLs with strong e-commerce DNA, meaning their audience trusts their recommendations, and they have a proven sales track record, can often rival or even outperform top influencers in actual conversion rates and building loyalty. The reports gave examples like at Sipangaxia and at Quanquiego, who had impressive sales despite not having the largest follower numbers due to highly engaged, trusting audiences.
So it's really about the quality and engagement of the audience and the host's ability to connect transactionally, not just follower quantity. The reports also mention how different sellers, employees, mid-tier influencers, top-tier celebrities vary in effectiveness depending on a brand's existing social awareness.
Exactly. If a brand has low visibility, just having employees go live might not work well initially. Partnering with top-tier or celebrity influencers can generate that initial buzz. However, if a brand is already discussed and has decent awareness, then even employee or store associate live streams can be effective for engaging existing customers and driving sales. And in that scenario, collaborating with mid-tier influencers with engaged niche audiences can be particularly valuable for both engagement and sales conversions within specific communities.
Okay, let's move to the crucial element of products. It seems clear not every product is suited for live streaming. What are the key characteristics of products that tend to thrive here?
Well, understanding target audience preferences is primary younger demographics. Female consumers are generally more active. The product's necessity, its price point for impulse buys, existing brand recognition, and unique features like co-branded items or exclusive pricing all play significant roles. Ultimately, the reports stress the product itself and its price are major determinants of conversion, along with team coordination, stream duration, and after-sales service quality.
And the reports categorize products based on their strategic role within a live stream. What were those categories?
Yes, four main strategic categories: traffic drivers, high visibility, mass appeal, seasonal items, often low profit margin, used to attract viewers initially, best sellers, often non-standardized or private label with strong supply chain control, designed to drive high sales volume and increase average order value. Profit generators, things like exclusive IP merch, customized items, limited quantities offering good profit margins. And finally, specialty items, often exclusive to a streamer or event, helping enhance fan loyalty, stickiness, and long-term profitability.
That's a really insightful way to think strategically about curating products for a live stream. Were there specific platform-based preferences for product categories?
Yes, the reports broke down preferred categories for Taobao Live, Kuaishu, and Douyin, while things like food and beverage, apparel, beauty, and daily necessities did well across all three. There were subtle variations reflecting each platform's unique users, content, and characteristics.
And what about the selection logic the hosts themselves use when picking products?
Hosts often prioritize fast-moving consumer goods due to short shelf life and high repurchase potential, especially with unique selling points. Novel and unique products, particularly tech-enhanced or convenience-focused ones, also perform well due to interest factor and demo potential. And finally, products with high available inventory and relatively low price points are generally attractive for driving significant sales volume and creating immediate value.
Okay, we've explored people and products. Let's turn to the final element, platform. How does the choice of platform fundamentally influence success?
The platform choice is crucial in several ways. First, content seeding on short video platforms like Douyin and Kuaishou uses their algorithms to build awareness, generate interest, and drive impulsive buys. That dynamic is very different from traditional e-commerce platforms.
And how do short video live streaming platforms generally differ from live streams hosted directly on established e-commerce platforms?
Short video platforms primarily feature more independent, often in-house influencers and support diverse products, including more non-standardized items. There's often a stronger personal connection and trust. E-commerce platform live streaming, conversely, often features more brand-hosted or store associate streams. It's maybe more suited for products needing detailed explanation or with established recognition. The audience might be more price-sensitive, the experience more product-centric, relying on the platform's reputation for stability and reliability.
So it's really about strategically leveraging the inherent strengths and user behavior of each platform type. And the reports touched on the optimal marketing logic for launching new products.
Yes, a common effective approach is starting with short video seeding to create awareness and educate. This is typically followed by mid to late stage live streaming events to capitalize on that interest and drive immediate sales, often using targeted promotional tactics. Ultimately, the reports stress each product and brand has its own best path, depending on platform, host type, product category, fast-moving versus durable, and brand maturity.
This has been incredibly insightful. Now, let's zoom in on the major platforms themselves. The reports categorize them into three types based on origin and strengths. What were those?
The three primary categories identified were e-commerce platforms, social platforms, and short video content platforms. Each approached live streaming commerce with slightly different goals, leveraging their existing strengths.
Let's start with the established e-commerce platforms like Taobao, JD, Suning, Pinduoduo. What was their main strategic goal in getting involved?
For these giants, the primary aim was often to significantly reduce customer acquisition costs. They already had the infrastructure, goods, merchants, logistics. Live streaming offered a more engaging, interactive, direct way to connect with buyers, build relationships, and drive higher conversions without the high costs of traditional digital ads.
What about the social platforms like Tencent's Candy and Live and Weibo? What were their core objectives?
Their focus was more on leveraging their massive traffic aggregation capabilities and exploring new monetization avenues. They aimed to capitalize on their social networks and private traffic direct connections within their ecosystems to drive e-commerce via live streaming. However, the reports noted user stickiness for e-commerce specifically might be lower compared to short video platforms where shopping was more integrated.
And finally, the short video content platforms like Douyin, Kuaishou, Bilibili, Xiaohongshu. Their key strengths and rationale.
These platforms primarily sought to add a direct e-commerce layer to their thriving content ecosystems. They had influencer talent, huge user volumes, sophisticated content creation, and recommendation capabilities. Integrating live streaming commerce was a natural extension, monetizing their engaged users and providing new revenue streams for creators.
Let's delve deeper into some individual platforms, starting with Taobao Live. The reports positioned it as a real frontrunner.
Absolutely. Taobao Live was frequently highlighted as undisputed leader, showing remarkable growth across scale, hosts, and scenarios. In 2019 alone, over 250 billion yuan in GMV, over 150% growth for 3 consecutive years. By then, 177 individual hosts had surpassed 100 million yuan in annual GMV.
Wow, those are truly staggering numbers.
Yeah.
What else set Taobao Live apart?
Beyond sales, it boasted a massive, exceptionally sticky user base watching over 350,000 hours of live content daily. By late 2019, over 600,000 product SKUs were available via live stream. It also cultivated diverse participants and scenarios, especially during big events like 618, involving hundreds of celebrities, CEOs, and over 10,000 offline stores using live streaming.
But the reports also mentioned a significant Matthew effect on Taobao Live. What's that?
Yes, due to its maturity and dominance, Taobao Live experienced a pronounced Matthew effect. The most popular hosts captured the vast majority of traffic and sales, making it hard for newcomers. This led Taobao to actively encourage more merchant-owned live streams, aiming to diversify and reduce reliance on a few top influencers. The platform also saw strong performance in high engagement, high repurchase, low return consumables.
And Taobao seemed to be constantly adapting its strategies. What were some key enhancements they rolled out?
They focused on several areas, increasing professionally generated content, PGC, and recruiting more celebrity endorsements to broaden appeal and quality. They launched innovative C2M special edition live streams, leveraging their consumer-to-manufacturer model for unique, demand-driven products. Plus, new traffic portals and interactive features for both hosts and merchants, making it easier to connect with relevant viewers and boost engagement.
Let's shift to JD Live. How did they position themselves and what were their strengths?
JD Live also significantly upgraded its strategy, especially around events like 618, making live streaming a core part of its approach. They emphasize high traffic exposure, diverse content like CEO streams and celebrity events, and upgraded services to support merchants using live streaming.
And JD seemed to leverage its existing core strengths too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. JD highlighted its robust supply chain integration, reputation for authenticity and logistics, encouraging new product launches via live streams on their platform. Their social e-commerce platform, Jingxi, helped expand reach. JD Live focused on empowering merchants and hosts through ranking systems, special benefits, and support, aiming for professional, high-quality streams aligned with JD's quality image. Their Kuaishu JD Double 10 Billion Subsidy initiative also showed willingness to partner for broader reach.
What about Suning.com Live, their particular approach and advantages?
Suning.com Live was actually an earlier adopter, leveraging its extensive supply chain to offer affordable goods. Their efforts focused on categories where Suning was already strong: appliances, 3C products, beauty. They also experimented with brand flagship stores, hosting streams directly on platforms like Douyin, often with exclusive discounts.
Okay, now let's really dig into the detailed data comparing Douyin and Kuaishu live streaming e-commerce mid-2020. The reports gave a comprehensive side-by-side.
Yes, this comparison reveals fascinating differences. In user numbers, Douyin had a slight edge: 567 monthly active users versus Kuaishu's 470M and 400M daily active users versus Kuaishu's 300-meter.
But the underlying algorithms and core user demographics were quite distinct, weren't they?
Exactly. Douyin's algorithm was heavily popularity-driven and personalized. It efficiently distributed popular content, created viral hits, and tailored feeds. Kuaishu emphasized a more fairness-driven algorithm focusing on community. Its system gave more creators a chance to be seen, not just stars. This difference contributed to demographics. Douyin attracted more users in Tier 12 cities, often 25-35 years old. Kuaishu was stronger in Tier 23 cities and below, with a notably younger audience, especially under 24.
Yes, absolutely. Kuaishu generally fostered deeper interaction. Followers there showed higher recognition, loyalty, and trust, leading to greater stickiness and community feel. On Douyin, interaction was often less personal, more focused on the viral content itself, not necessarily long-term loyalty to individual creators. What about popular product categories? Noticeable differences between Douyin and Kuaishu buyers.
Definitely. Douyin saw strong performance in beauty, trendy items, and branded goods for its more affluent urban base. Kuaishu had greater success with food, often direct from origin agricultural produce, apparel, and value-for-money everyday items, often white label, for its price-sensitive users. The linked e-commerce platforms reflected this. Douyin linked mostly to Taobao, JD. Kuaishu favored its own ecosystem via Yuzhan, magic chopsticks. The underlying approach also differed. Douyin resembled content marketing, optimizing visuals and algorithms for traffic, with sales secondary. Kuaishu felt more like social selling, leveraging community trust and private traffic.
So Douyin attracts with content, then subtly offers products. Kuaishu is more about buying from your trusted online community. Makes sense.
Yeah.
What about growth in hosts and sessions?
Douyin saw a much larger surge in new hosts in the 6 months pre-mid-2020. 2.85 million versus Kuaishu's 720,000. Douyin also grew faster in total sessions, 55.31 million versus Kuaishu's 12.73 million. Suggests Douyin was aggressively expanding infrastructure and attracting creators.
But average viewership per session told a different story.
Yes. Douyin's average peak viewers fluctuated more, suggesting viewing habits were still developing, possibly more dependent on viral content. Kuaishou maintained more stable, generally higher average viewership, indicating a more mature ecosystem with consistent viewing habits.
Interesting. Despite Douyin's higher volume of sessions and new hosts, Kuaishou had a more consistently engaged audience. What about actual spending behavior? Gifts versus products.
This is a really key distinction. Douyin viewers spent more on virtual gifts for streamers, supporting creators directly. Kuaishou viewers, however, spent significantly more on actual physical products during streams. In the 6 months analyzed, Douyin's product GMV was 11.9 billion yuan. Kuaishou's was a staggering 104.4 billion yuan.
That's a massive difference in direct product sales. Let's delve into detailed user demographics: gender, age, location.
Both platforms had slightly more male viewers. Age-wise, Douyin's largest group was 25-30, Kuaishou's was 18-24, highlighting its younger appeal. Geographically, Douyin was concentrated in eastern central China, Guangdong top. Kuaishou was more dispersed, Hebei top, consistent with its reach into lower-tier cities. Douyin's user base was also more concentrated within its top 10 provinces.
And the breakdown by city tier.
Douyin skewed heavily towards new Tier 1 cities, Beijing top. Kuaishou had greater concentration in new Tier 23 cities, though Beijing was also its top city. Basically, Douyin more urban centers, Kuaishou broader reach into developing areas.
What about typical usage habits, time spent watching live streams?
Douyin users, on average, showed higher overall platform activity and spent longer watching live streams daily. However, as noted, when Kuaishou users tuned in, they were often more consistently engaged and purchase-oriented.
Now let's shift to the hosts. Key demographic differences among new hosts joining Douyin versus Kuaishou.
Douyin attracted more new female hosts. Kuaishou was more balanced. Female hosts on both platforms attracted more followers, especially on Douyin. Host tier-wise, over 96% of new hosts on both started in lower tiers, under 100K followers. But Douyin added slightly more new top-tier hosts, over 10M followers.
What about their initial activity levels? Were new hosts more active on one platform?
Data suggests more new Douyin hosts were relatively new to live streaming, fewer sessions hosted. New Kuaishou hosts tended to be more active initially, more sessions hosted, perhaps indicating a lower entry barrier or more established streaming culture.
And the primary content categories for these new hosts?
Douyin's most popular category for new hosts was lifestyle. For Kuaishou, it was internet celebrity beauty, followed by gaming and general entertainment, reflecting platform ecosystems and user interests.
We also saw data on top-selling hosts, differences in who led sales and concentration.
Yes. Douyin's top sellers included many celebrities, often lower session counts, high sales per session, suggesting lower sales concentration. Kuaishou's top seller was Jinba, and his team dominated the top ranks, indicating higher sales concentration within a specific group.
Really paints a clear picture of the different dynamics. Let's move to detailed product category data, top categories, and average price trends.
Food, beverage, apparel, and skincare were prominent top sellers on both. Daily necessities also ranked highly on Kuaishou. Average prices tended to be generally higher on Douyin across most categories compared to Kuaishou, likely reflecting different demographics and purchasing power.
What about fastest-growing subcategories in food beverage? Different preferences?
Yes, Douyin users leaned towards leisure snacks and premium online brands. Kuaishou users favored staples like instant food and direct-from-origin produce. Price sensitivity also varied within subcategories.
How about apparel? Top sellers and price trends.
T-shirts were top sellers on both. Average prices for trendier items were higher on Douyin. Kuaishou saw higher volumes in casual basic wear at lower prices. Douyin T-shirt prices were roughly double Kuaishou's.
And skincare and cosmetics. Key products and price differences.
Facial masks were top skincare sellers on both. Douyin featured more products over 100 yuan, Kuaishou mostly under 70 yuan. In cosmetics, lipstick was top on both, but Douyin's highest-priced lipsticks were considerably more expensive, about 2.5x higher than Kuaishou's.
Moving to daily necessities and household goods. Key trends and price dynamics.
High-consumption items like paper towels, trash bags sold well on both. Douyin had higher average prices for personal care items. In home goods, bedding mats were popular. Douyin users paid more for decor.
And finally, shoes, bags, jewelry accessories. Popular items and price differences.
Slippers were top sellers in shoes bags on both. Douyin had much wider price variance. Kuaishou mostly under 130 yuan. In jewelry accessories, trendy items like belt sleeves rings were popular. Kuaishou mostly under 100 yuan. Douyin ring prices were significantly higher, likely including fine jewelry.
Striking how Douyin and Kuaishou cater to distinct preferences and price ranges. The reports also broke down top-selling brands, overarching trends.
Yes, consistent patterns. Food Bev, Douyin favored leisure snacks online brands, Kuaishu direct from origin value brands, apparel, Douyin trendy online brands, Kuaishu basic white label, skincare, Douyin established domestic brands, Kuaishu lesser known. Cosmetics, new domestic brands popular on both, Kuaishu users sought broader subcategories, daily necessities. High volume paper goods on both, Kuaishu more lesser known personal care brands. Home appliances, both small appliances, trendy breakfast machines on Douyin. Home goods, Douyin well-known brands. Kuaishu high volume for value brands like Nanjiren. Shoes bags and jewelry accessories, both mostly smaller merchants, Tamalto Bao shops. Fewer big-name brands dominating.
So it seems Douyin attracted more established, perhaps higher-end or trend-focused brands, while Kuaishu was strong for emerging brands, value products, direct-from-source goods. This detailed data really highlights the nuances. Now, based on all this, what key advice did the reports offer on how to succeed in this competitive short video live streaming landscape?
Several critical recommendations. Platform selection is paramount. Douyin often better for non-standardized visual goods, broader reach. Kuaishu often more effective for daily necessities, agricultural goods, community-based sales. Also crucial. Douyin sends more traffic externally, mainly Taobao JD. Kuaishu keeps transactions mostly in its own ecosystem, Yuzan, magic chopsticks.
What about selecting the right hosts or KOLs?
Host selection needs to go beyond follower counts. Crucial factors: genuine brand alignment, past performance metrics, overall business capabilities, fan-based demographics, image, style, professionalism, trust. Humor was also noted as effective.
And the products themselves, key characteristics for live stream audiences.
Best performers are often well-known, easily understood, in high demand, offered at a compelling, often lowest price. Products appealing to younger female demos do well. Food is consistently popular. Low trial cost products, ideally under 50 yuan, encourage impulse buys.
Pricing strategy seems particularly important. Recommended tactics.
Effective pricing strategies are crucial. Anchor pricing, showing original versus discounted price, works well. Flexible discounts during the stream, specials, limited time offers, create urgency. Many top Kuaishu sellers price slightly below Tmall equivalents with added live stream discounts.
And the actual sales techniques used during broadcasts.
Successful tactics focus on relatable benefits for the target audience. Tier 34 users more prone to impulse buys. Highlighting quality, showcasing user experience via demos, creating compelling limited-time offers are all essential.
Finally, the reports looked at future trends, key predictions.
Several significant trends. Brand building becoming more central, shifting from white label towards established emerging brands using the format for direct engagement. Continued host diversification. More specialized experts, more store-based live streaming. Enhanced offline-online integration via tech like VR 3D for immersive experiences. Product range expansion to higher value items, cars, real estate, and broader categories. Continued platform convergence and partnerships, Douyin Taobao, Kuaishu's ecosystem. And fundamentally, content remains king, with platforms brands investing more in high-quality, engaging content.
What about the overall landscape of opportunities and challenges ahead?
The low entry barrier is a big opportunity, especially for new brands to gain traction quickly due to potentially lower initial traffic costs. But this also means intense competition. A major challenge is building lasting brand equity and loyalty in a discount-driven market, plus the risk of damaging brand value with excessive price cuts.
The reports even included a couple of compelling case studies illustrating the potential. Can you recap those briefly?
Yes, one striking case. Zonlian Heavy Industry sold 620 excavators in 1.5 hours via Douyin livestream. They showcased capabilities, used endorsements, offered promotions. Another, Soning.com, sold 10 tons of Mutai liquor in a 4-hour stream using bundled sets and interest-free installments, capitalizing on high demand. These show the power for even high-value or traditionally offline goods.
These reports have truly provided such a comprehensive look at live streaming e-commerce in 2020. To quickly recap some key takeaways for you: the explosive growth accelerated by the pandemic, the diversification of platforms and players, the short video seeding plus live streaming sales combo as a winning formula. We've also explored the distinct strengths and strategies of major platforms like Douyin and Kuaishu and got a glimpse into future trends.
Absolutely. And considering this rapid evolution and the unique strengths of different platforms and creators, it really makes you think, what's the next big innovation or shift in how we shop via live streaming? What are the long-term implications for brands adapting and for consumer behavior as this market matures and integrates further into our lives?
That's a really thought-provoking question. And for those of you listening who found certain aspects particularly interesting, definitely delve deeper into specific platform strategies or the different host archetypes. There's a wealth of fascinating detail in these reports waiting to be explored.